Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. This is not your first time. Thank you for coming back. So I'm going to be doing a reading for the collective whole. This reading is an energy update in regards to what is going on. I got the message that they're trying to get you to push the green light button. They're trying to get you to green light something. What is that? What are they trying to get you to initiate? I'm assuming this has to do with the state of the world, the global events, whatever. I'm kind of over it. Not kind of, I'm very over it. So, I don't know if you guys are aware. You probably are aware because it's been being talked about quite a bit. There's been some events in, was it Minneapolis, Daddy? Yep. Those are fucked up events, I'll tell you. I'm not going to get into that, but with the way things have been going and the divisions that have been created within society, I can see where this is going. I can totally see where this is going, and I'm just going to let the cards speak for themselves. If the cards bring that up, which I think they will, then we'll talk about that. But you guys, temper yourselves, okay? Really temper yourselves. Something needs to be done, but I don't know what. I don't know what. Yeah. Maybe you shouldn't watch the news to see what's going on, because my son told me about this. He showed me yesterday. Man, I knew that calm from yesterday. I was like, this is just weird. Why is it so calm? Oh, because they were killing people. That's why. That's why. All the energy was fixated on one area. That's why. Let me just get the cards that I need. How are you guys doing while I shuffle cards? Yep. Totally makes sense. Totally. All right. Yeah, I kind of have no appetite either. We can call it fasting. We can call it disgusted, whichever. Because I oftentimes end up fasting when I'm disgusted with the things that I see. It's the same thing to me. Let's see. Hold on. All right. All right. So as we're seeing right now, what's going on is an uprising in the toxic masculinity. I'm not talking about this is a problem caused by males or men. I'm talking about the imbalance within ourselves, within our societies regarding patriarchal systems. Okay. So right now, that system is being purged out. Now, I'm not talking about this is the great purge or whatever other stupid shit people are talking about to promote violence. No, this is about a dying paradigm in its death throes. Okay. It's in its death throes right now. And I don't know if you've ever seen anything die, but right before it dies, it like struggles out of fear to cling and still stay present. Okay. So that's kind of what's going on. It's not necessarily that all men are evil and this is men's faults or any of that. It's that we have had an imbalance in the masculine and feminine energies within societies for so long. And it's just coming to a head right now. It's coming to a head and it's going to pop, not like a pimple, but a motherfucking boil, a tunneling abscess. That's what we have right now. It's a tunneling abscess. And what we need to do is hold a space for the masculine energies to shift in a place of peace. Okay. Card number 25. Release a dark wound, let love live. We've totally been programmed. We've so been, every single last one of us. I don't care what your beliefs are. I don't care how peaceful you want to try and see yourself. We've all been programmed in some way to allow the necrotic wounds to continue to exist. I don't know if you understand the definition of necrotic. It means rotting. It's like when you have a wound and the flesh around that wound rots. There's no saving it. You simply cut it out and allow the healthy tissue to heal. And this is kind of what's happening right now within societies. A lot of this toxicity is being cut out. Okay, we cannot allow ourselves. There's a lot of emotion in this live stream right now. We can't allow ourselves to begin playing within our heads the next step of the programming, which is a separation, the division. We cannot make blanket statements of, in regards to what recently happened, all cops are pigs. I know quite a few police officers that are not pigs. Okay. There are quite a few that are now speaking out, have been speaking out about a lot of really atrocious behavior. They're being suspended. There are those who are bad seeds within that establishment. Absolutely. There's a lot of atrocities that have happened. But what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to play along with the narrative, lash out in violence so they can further oppress? Now is not the time to use violence. They're trained through violence. They're trained in how to subdue violence with even greater violence. Am I saying that we pretend there's no wound, that there was no wrong or injustice done? Absolutely not. That's not how you heal the wound. You acknowledge the wound. You treat the wound. You dress the wound appropriately. So that's what we're needing to do now. I think what's going on with society right now is all the stuff that we're witnessing externally is a reflection of all the shit going on internally. Within ourselves, within our family units, within our circles. All of this is just fucking insanity, you guys. Insanity. So card number 33, love the darkness. This is not about loving evil. This is about allowing yourself to do the internal work that's necessary to be balanced so that you can see with clarity what you are being asked to participate in. Whether you're being asked to participate in acts or behaviors that help to usher in a solution, a permanent solution, or if you're being used, manipulated to do more of the same, to perpetuate the cycle, cause division, cause separation. When are we going to learn? Everything that's being done to us as a people is to separate us. Everything. Everything. And that's okay if you're one of the people who have gotten to a point in your intellectual as well as emotional and spiritual development where you now question, where you now can't just blindly follow along, blindly accept, blindly agree. That's okay. And it's also okay if you haven't gotten there and you don't understand why people are questioning the official narrative, why people are not complying with the official orders. That's okay. We all have to be okay with where each other is at. The whole point of spirituality is not to have us all on the same page, reading the same word at the same time. Understand the truth of spirituality. Not only will we all be on different pages, reading different words, many of us are reading different books. That's not the unity that we need. The unity that we need right now is a celebration that we're all in this learning process. And we don't all have to be in the same class. You go to college, there's so many different classes being conducted at the same time. That's the same thing with life. So many different classes being conducted at the same time. Even the math department has so many different lessons being taught at the same time by different teachers. That's the same thing with life. Right now, we're needing to learn a major lesson. And this lesson is, I guess if we're going to continue with the school analogy, this is like a fire drill. We're being taught a drill right now. What are you going to do with this opportunity? That's something for you to decide. But the cards are asking you to exercise some wisdom. 33, 22. 33 being the number of ascended masters. 22 being the number of divine guidance. You're being guided, internally guided by the masters that live within you. You come from divine masters, ascended masters. Okay, you don't need to look for something outside of you. You have the guidance within you right now. And there's this whole concept in spiritual communities where it's not spiritual, it's not evolved if you feel things like rage. Well, if you saw the video I saw, you would fucking be enraged. And there's no other type of emotion you should feel outside of sadness, disgust. What, are we going to love and light that shit? well, maybe he was sorry. I don't give a shit if he's sorry. I really don't give a shit if he's sorry. There needs to be a correction done. I don't know how that correction is going to be done, but what's going on outside of us is a reflection of what's going on inside of us. Let that really sink in. Let that really sink in. I don't think it's a coincidence that with that ugly event of basically a man being executed in the most disgusting, slow way possible, he keeps saying, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. What's happening to all of us right now? We're not being allowed to breathe. Okay? There's a lot of synchronistic things going on. If you allow your mind to be open, you will receive the confirmation that you need. There's a knee placed on his throat. He can't speak. He can't breathe. What's going on right now within societies? If you speak against something, if you question, if you state your needs, knee on your throat. Mask over your mouth so you can't breathe. Now, I'm not going to make it that there's just a lot of things to see. A lot of things are playing out to show you what's going on within societies. And it's ugly. It's ugly. It's ugly. There's a divide that's been created. A major divide within us and outside of us. Once we begin to allow ourselves to exist in totality, we can then begin seeing clearly. Okay? We have to begin seeing clearly. We cannot continue with this bullshit of like, well, I mean, was he resisting? It's their fault. Well, is the area that nope. This can happen to anyone, anywhere. Anyone, anywhere. I don't see it as a specific race of being was murdered. I see it as a man was murdered. Okay? There's no more of the separation stuff. A correction needs to be made within ourselves. I'm glad that video is removed. I could have lived the rest of my life never having seen that. I'm so glad that video is removed. We have to begin allowing ourselves to reunify our parts, to reunify our communities, to reunify the world. It's time. It's time. And they want that green light button pushed, the green light for full-on violent confrontation. I said this in a previous live stream on Facebook. Not a lot of people saw it because I had to take it down. This is part of the plan. Alienate the people from law enforcement. Just mark those words. Card number 17. What is already with you? The solution is already with us. The solution is already with us. We just have to allow ourselves to receive it. Because a lot of us are in denial. A lot of us are in denial of what's going on in the world, what's going on within our communities, what's going on within our households, what's going on within our minds. Allow yourself to receive this transformation. This transformation, you know, a lot of people think that a spiritual awakening is when you're suddenly at peace with the whole world. That fucking makes me laugh, because when you finally awaken, you will really see the atrocity, the utter fuckery that we live in, that we perpetuate, that we are complicit in. And you become enraged. You become apathetic. That is the truth of awakening. If you think one day you woke up and suddenly, oh, you see angels now, and I don't know what you went through, good for you if you now can see things, but you're not woke. When you're truly awakened, you will not be okay with the state of the world. And it will no longer be this concept of, well, that's over there. The people from that country are savages. The people from that country are communists. The people from that country, no, it's all around the world. It's all around the world. And until you recognize that, you are not woke. You are not woke. I'm going to be real honest with you. Very raw, honest truth. You are not woke. Until you feel yourself being enraged and feeling as though it was your family that had a family member murdered in the streets, you are not woke. You're not. You can say all you want, but you're not. Until you can feel that pain as though it's your own, you are not woke. You aren't. And people might see this later on and be like, why is she so angry? Because I need to be. Because maybe my anger will wake your ass up. Anger doesn't mean violence. Anger is the rising up of feelings, of thoughts that have been ignored for so long. Anger is your attention being brought to a problem. So if you're wondering why she's so angry, the real question is, why aren't you? Because it's not your problem, because you're not woke. Everyone wants to achieve some level of woke to get that that credibility, that clout, like I'm woke. If you're really woke, why aren't you upset? Because it's fake woke, just like it's fake sleep. It's time to liberate ourselves. Card number 13, free yourself. Free yourself. There are things that have wrapped around us, wrapped around our minds, wrapped around our ability to breathe, speak, exist, that is cloaked in this white feathery robe of pure intent, of concern. It's bullshit. All of it is bullshit. All of it is bullshit. True concern will help us rise up. True concern will help support us when we are feeling hopeless. If it's continuing to perpetuate your fear, your sense of inability, there's no integrity in that. There's none. So it's time for you to choose. Are you going to free yourself? Or are you going to sit there and continue to be complicit in the things that are going on? Now, again, am I asking you to riot in the streets? Am I asking you to commit violent acts? Absolutely not. Am I asking you to even protest peacefully? No. I'm asking you to finally look within yourself and see, what have you allowed? What have we allowed? And it goes down to Who's Brandon? If that's some sort of city official or politician, National Guards have been deployed. Oh, it's your fiance. National Guards have been deployed. All the chess pieces are in place. If people were going to go to war and revolt, they should have done that in the beginning before all of this shit with everything. Checkmate, baby boo-boo. Checkmate. So if you're going to try and do this through violent acts, you're going to be crushed. Bottom line. They're trained. They have the weaponry. They have everything in place. They have people within your communities programmed to snitch on you, to believe that you are public enemy instead of you are a supporter of our civil liberties. Nope, don't do that. Do not start a war. You're going to lose that. You're going to lose that. Don't do it. That's what they want. They need violent insurrection. That's what they need. And that's not what we're going to give them. Because guess what? When you are peaceably assembled and being civilly disobedient, and they try and crush you, and that's recorded, even the people who support the oppressors will have no choice but to see and take your side. This is full-on psychological warfare. Don't let them fuck with you in this way. Be mad all you want, be vocal, but do not encourage physical violence. You're not going to win that. This is why they have really, really been so adamant for years now to try and disarm the American people. This is why. And this is why the Second Amendment exists, to protect you from tyranny, both foreign and especially domestic. Especially domestic. The Constitution exists to control the government, not us. This is to guarantee we have certain inalienable rights. It cannot be taken away. And that's what people don't understand. You're giving it away. They're not taking it. Not only are you giving it, you're begging them to take it away from everyone else. That's some caca ass shit. I swear to God. Okay. Card number 38, abundance. We are abundant in whatever we want to be. If we want to be abundant in fear, we will be. If we want to be abundant in grace, courage, and compassion, we will be. So you choose carefully what you want for yourself. You choose carefully, okay? Choose very, very carefully what you want, because this is what's going to determine what you get for yourself. It's very important we begin to realize that we are co-creators. We are co-creators, meaning without our compliance, the narrative cannot continue to be written. It just can't. And if you look at an abusive relationship, the reason the abuse is allowed to continue is because the victim, the one being abused, consistently hears day in and day out a specific narrative. It is their fault. They are selfish. They are mean. They are not considerate. They are this, they are that. They have to do blah, 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 blah. What's going on right now in society? Everywhere you look, there is programming. Every single commercial, there is programming. We are not in this together. We are not. Unless they are paying your mortgage, your rent, unless they are caring for your children, unless they are buying your groceries. We are not in this together. We are each in this separately. And we have been. And some people might be like, well, why are you preaching separation? No, I'm preaching recognition. Until we recognize the depth of the separation, we're going to continue to buy the bullshit. We are not in this together. I would love for us to be in this together. But unfortunately, we can't even agree to uphold the Constitution. Oh, your rights end as soon as they trample on mine. No, dumbass. That's not how the Constitution works. Both our rights, as long as they are covered by the Constitution, must be honored. Okay? Because what you're trying to say is trying to infringe on my rights. So I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? That's the most stupidest logic I've ever heard. And you'll see there are people who, oh my God. Okay, dandelions are detox. Dandelions support the liver. Liver is very supportive of no, dandelions are very supportive of liver function, and the liver organ is connected emotionally to anger. Dandelions also very much help the gallbladder, which is connected to the emotion of resentment. So here we are, pitting us against each other. This motherfucker pitting us against each other. Who's gonna win? You see that? Who's gonna win? He's right there. All right, get ready to fight. Who's gonna get the trophy? This is what's going on in society right now. Who's gonna get the trophy? Who's gonna win? Nobody wins. Nobody wins. Now, the dandelion right there, that tells me we need to begin processing our anger and our resentment. That is no longer to be allowed to fester. It's okay if you're angry. It's okay if you're resentful. You have a reason to be. You were given a reason to feel that way. The emotion is not the problem. Our refusal to acknowledge and process that emotion is the problem. That's what caused the necrosis. That's what caused the rotting within ourselves, the rotting of the wounds. And it's time to let that go, remember? Release the dark wound. Let love live. It's time to let that go. Now, letting it go, releasing, does not mean you're going to forget. It doesn't mean suddenly we forget slavery never existed. It doesn't mean suddenly we forget that so much injustice occurs in this world, that we continue to have racism, segregation, all sorts of shit. It doesn't mean we forget that. It means we move beyond the recognition of the problem and enter a state of seeking out a solution to implement. 3 steps: problem, solution, implementation. Just talking about solutions is just as pointless as just talking about the problem. If you're not willing to implement, then you're not helping. Debates are nothing outside of grown-up arguing, because it's civilized to debate, and that's such a waste of time. Find a solution. Implement it. Simple. Simple. We all know what the problems are. We've all talked about solutions. How come no one's ever implemented a solution? Because we've been programmed to not really want true healing. Heal just enough to look like you're healed. That's the motto of society. Heal just enough to look like you're healed. Smile. Love and light. There you go. I meditate. Namaste. All the wonderful words. Oh, spiritual bypassing. Oh, you're a narcissist. No. Find a solution and implement it. It's time. Then no more, card number 40, Sacred Fool. We're all playing the Sacred Fool. That's us pulling the strings. That's not someone else. That's us pulling the strings. Notice how she's looking to one side. That's because we're being instructed on what strings to pull. But we're the one pulling the string. That's the most mindfuck right there. We are the ones pulling our own strings. If you instead look in the mirror and give yourself instruction instead of looking to someone else to instruct you, you'll know exactly what to do with your puppet. But we don't, because heaven forbid we take accountability for fucked up decisions that we make. Because if you let someone else tell you what to do, you're not responsible. Well, so-and-so told me. I was just doing what so-and-so told me. I was just doing my job. That's the good one. They're just doing their job. They were just doing their job when they went on that call and committed a murder. They were just doing their job when they kept their back to their fellow officer who was murdering a man because they were doing crowd control. They were just doing their job. They were just doing their job. Card number 3, detox, cleanse, and restore yourself. We have to detoxify our emotions and our thoughts. We have to. We have to. We can't continue to exist in this way. It's so beyond toxic. So beyond toxic. And for those of you who didn't see the video that has me all up in a fucking rage, an officer placed his knee on a cuffed man's neck. You can hear him not able to breathe. You can hear him struggling to communicate. Please, I can't breathe. And there was someone who is an EMT. She states, you hear it in the video, I'm EMT. You need to check his pulse. No, step back. There was no regulation put in place. And we're running through a fear program. I don't know what I would have done if I was there. I can't sit there and be like, well, I would have been shot because I would have. No, it's so easy to say these things because you're not there. So what should have been done? I don't know. I don't know. We should have done something before that became a circumstance. And unfortunately, this has been a circumstance. This type of violence to certain types of individuals has existed for so long. So long. And there's this narrative, well, they're just ghetto. Don't get me started on that shit. Don't get me started on that shit. Don't get me started on that. So let me get a couple more cards. They wanted to, Marcy. They wanted to. They were getting riled up, and like I said, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. I don't know what I would have done. But they weren't just sitting there recording. They were being very vocal. They were really trying to help him. I don't know if it would have been better if they all just, I don't know. I'm assuming there were only 4 officers there maintaining the scene. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Oh. Oops. Wrong one. Hold on, guys. All right. So we have the devil in reverse. Release from bondage, divorce, recognition of one's needs by another person, overcoming severe handicaps. This is a very, very good sign. This is a very good sign. Very good sign. It's time for us to really recognize what we are allowing ourselves to participate in. Our participation through silence, through compliance, causes us to be complicit in the crimes against humanity. Crimes against humanity. That's what's happening worldwide. Crimes against humanity. This is not okay. I don't care what your race is, your belief, where you live. What happened and what continues to happen, what has happened so much in the past is not okay. And we all have to agree on this at this point. It is not okay. Is it going to take someone who's white to be murdered in the streets by a cop in the same fashion for us to understand? It is not okay. I don't give a shit what color your skin is. It is not okay. A Pisces cries for one of two reasons: sadness or rage. How the fuck can we be okay with this shit? How the fuck can we be okay with this shit? To where you can be okay with our Constitution going to shit. To where you can be okay seeing a man murdered in the streets. And people can argue that, oh, but he was on crack. Because I heard that he was on crack. He's coming down off crack. I don't give a shit. The addicts are the people who society have failed from the start. That is why they have an addiction. Get off your fucking high horse. I don't give a shit if he was on crack, heroin, whatever. Addicts are the people who society has already failed. Stop shitting on them. They are people too. They are people too. If they weren't failed in childhood, they'd be just as happy and successful as you. So get off your fucking high horse if you think, oh, but he was a crack addict. I don't give a shit. To me, that's evidence he has already been failed so many times in life. From infancy, he was failed. He fell between the cracks. He didn't get the bonds that he needed to develop without addictions in place. It's bullshit. Bullshit. You will never get me to agree that the ill treatment of another human being is somehow okay because of struggles they're already having. You do not hold someone else's struggles against them. They're already struggling. They're already struggling. You think someone wants to be an addict? You think that someone chooses to be that way, that they aspire to have that kind of problem and struggle in life? How alone do you have to be? How alone do you have to feel in order for you to turn to an inanimate object to feel connection? How alone do you have to feel? And we have people in society who can't even sit at home for a couple days because, oh my God, I need to go out and socialize. And you know what I'm saying? You can't even be alone for a couple days. Imagine feeling alone in a room full of people your entire life. And unless you know what that feels like, don't talk to me about how fucked up people are because they have addictions. And no, I've never been an addict. I've never even done any type of drugs outside of smoking marijuana when I was younger. So no, I don't have to experience addiction. I'm not speaking from experience. I'm speaking from humanity, from my humane side. I'm speaking from compassion. The things going on in this world is so fucked up. It's ridiculous. Ten of Cups in reverse, loss of friendship, unhappiness, family quarrel, pettiness, rage, difference of opinion. That's us. That's us. That's where we're at. Happy little family upside down. What are we going to do to fix this? Four of Pentacles in reverse. Setbacks in material matters. Opposition to further gain. Let that sink in. Opposition to further gain. Look up Hegelian dialectic. Look up theaters of war. How do they destabilize the government? They create division. They've already created division. We are living in a theater of war, domestic war. I don't know what the solution is. But at the very least, we need to recognize that this is not a race war. This is an oppressor versus the slaves war. We're all the slaves. Don't get that shit twisted. I don't care how rich you are, unless you're part of the 1% of the 1%, because even members of that 1% wealthy are slaves too. They just have more money. So You need to figure out what you're going to do, but we do not push that green light button. We do not push that green light for war in our streets. Y'all were talking all this shit about the conspiracy theorists. What the fuck do they need urban-sized tanks for? Tanks that can fit down urban streets. What do you think they needed that for? To protect the food that they're withholding from us, shutting down all kinds of plants that produced food? What do you think they needed that for? I do believe there was a narrative in California when all this fuckery started. They're deploying the National Guard. They're activating the National Guard to protect the food. I don't fucking think so. I don't think so. I don't think it was to protect the food. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Pretty sure. So, hey, if you're going to still choose physical violence, I hope you reconsider. I hope you absolutely reconsider. I'm fucking pissed. I'm pissed. But I'm not going to play into that game. I'm not going to play into that game. I'm not going to be quiet about all of this bullshit anymore. Nope. I'm not going to be quiet about any of this bullshit anymore. Nope. So, I know this was a very intense, very heavy message. Every single last one of you who resonate with it, you were given shoulders to carry that weight. You can handle it. What you're going to do with a message, I don't know. I don't know what you're supposed to do. I don't know. So you guys, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me every single time I'm live. Okay, bye.